to NIMASA this week. Hey, wait, maybe I should call it NIMASA this year or NIMASA this decade. You know what I'm getting at. It is the new year, new decade, 2020. Happy New Year. It's good to see you hale and hearty, alive and kicking. Well, the maritime industry is no different because they are looking towards the horizon of this year with a lot of expectation. In other words, the maritime industry is in pole position for greatness this year. Thank you for joining us. Now, we are going to traverse the great groundbreaking events that happened last year. We will start with something called the Maritime Forecast. Now, the Maritime Forecast is an event where big geniuses in the maritime industry come together and try to structure a list of what they could attain in the next few months or year. And later they'll come back and to see how they had done. Well, it's a wonderful, wonderful strategy. Then we will go to the Day of the Seafarers. The Day of the Seafarers. It is held worldwide, it's celebrated. And last year was great because the theme was getting on board with gender equality. As a matter of fact, last year, the events of last year had to do with gender equality, and we hope you're on board with that too. We also celebrate the African Day of Seas and Oceans. It took place. We celebrated. NIMASA this week was there, and it was a fabulous event. So these and many more coming up on this wonderful package. I wanted to make the first episode of this year, this decade, memorable so that we can start with a great, great program.
I wish all our stakeholders Happy New Year and say to you, remember the reason for the season. If it is not safe, please don't do it. And say to you, it's going to be your best year ever. A year of limitless opportunities. A year that you live to remember for what you will accomplish, especially in the maritime sector. And Happy New Year.
Parameters such as concerns about a substantial global economic growth slowdown, likely higher interest rates, a stronger dollar and volatile oil prices, possibly averaging below $60 per barrel, and domestically, the impact of sentiments surrounding the 2019 general elections and post-electoral transition. The empirical analysis projects the growth of the total fleet size in 2019 over 2018 to be 10.33%, easing to 8.75% for 2020. Oil tanker fleet size is projected to decrease by 11.2% for both 2019 and recover to a positive growth of 0.11% by 2020. Non-oil tanker fleet size is estimated to increase by 14.3% in 2019 and 10.2% in 2020, while oil rig count is projected to increase by 6.98% and 6.5% for 2019 and 2020 respectively.
International events affect Nigeria generally, and doubtless international maritime events and regulations in particular do affect Nigeria's maritime. Indeed, one of the key sections of this 2019 report is that section that deals with regulatory developments that are expected in 2019-2020.
June 25 is a day designated by the International Maritime Organization, IMO, to recognize the important contributions made by seafarers across the world to international seaborne trade, world economy, and society as a whole.
I'm very delighted to be part of this event and glad to note that this year's theme is centered on gender equality and the empowerment of women in the maritime industry. This is commendable as it will likely improve women's rate of participation in seafaring. Also, it is worthy of note that this year's theme is in tandem with the federal government's agenda on job creation and women empowerment. On this note, I wish to commend the Director General and the management team of NIMASA for encouraging women to become professional seafarers through its human capacity building initiative, the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program, which has produced already competent women seafarers for the industry. Under the current leadership of NIMASA, we have seen significant strides aimed at making women active players in the blue economy.
What can women do? Who are those debarring us from achieving what we ought to achieve? Those barriers, when they are addressed, and men shift a little, then you will see women in action. Give the women chance. Let us, even talking about what women can do. I bet you that if a woman is at the helm of affairs, this country will change for good.
That's right.
So women are ready.
That's right.
And I ask you to all support the women. We are only asking that you give us the chance. Women have never shied away from responsibility. Women have never shied away from even doing that hard work, which you think men, is the reserve of the men. Thank God, I think it's in LNG, you find a woman who is manning the engine in an LNG carrier. Is that easy? It's not easy. Give us the country and we'll take over. Thank you.
Yes. Let me say to women all over Nigeria, the potential is in you. You have capacity to outperform men in seafaring and in the maritime industry. I have data to show the number of ships in Nigeria are owned by women. Most women are ship managers. There are those who are entrepreneurs in the sector and are doing very well. I am proud of the Nigerian women, but they can do much more. You have our support in NIMASA. You have our support in the maritime sector. You have our support. Go all the way and become, number one, become the point of reference, and not just in the continent of Africa, globally, as a place where women are the drivers of prosperity in the maritime sector. You can do it. Go on, move on, and do it. You have our support, you have our backing, we're proud of you.
My message to Nigerians is for them to come together and resolve to make this country great. Nigeria is a very vibrant country with vast economic resources, and we need all of us to come together to make it as it is, as we have dreamed of. We think Nigerians should shun corruption. Nigeria should do everything to expand the economy, and Nigeria should be part of the security architecture of this country. And once we do that, we are going to have a country and the economy that works for all of us. I wish Nigerians a happy, prosperous New Year.
And here we are, the celebration of the seas and the oceans of Africa. And what are we looking at this day? To harness the biodiversity of the marine world.
The blue economy, which is a sustainable approach to the use of the seas and oceans resources for economic growth, encompasses many activities such as renewable energy, fisheries, marine transport, waste management, climate change, tourism, etc., etc. It is practically evident that the maritime sector has a key role to play in the alleviation of poverty and wealth creation, as it constitutes an integral source of income to the economy.
Now, you are talking about using what we have down there in the ocean, and the fact that we shouldn't just look at the bigger picture. Look at the people around the rivers and the seas of Nigeria. What do you think is the best way to really affect the lives of those people who live by the seas and the oceans and the rivers?
Whatever policy that we develop at the governmental level, at the implementing agencies of government, you need the buy-in of the people who actually live along the rivers, be it rivers in the north or the Delta region in the south. They are the ones that we need to explain the concept of biodiversity to. We need to explain to them how it is that they are critical to the preservation of the marine environment. Those are some of the things that we sometimes forget.
We have to take advantage of the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, as well as the opportunity given to us some time back in the mid-90s, whereby we have the opportunity to export our shrimps and sea turtle to the United States of America, as well as other parts of the world. We cannot joke with this because that is an income-earning venture, and we have to protect the source of this to make sure that our produce from the sea are not rejected by other parts of the world.
Fishery and aquaculture sectors remain the main source of income and sustenance for millions of low-income families, especially those that reside in the vast coastal regions of Nigeria. However, there is a lot of potential for expansion of the goods and services that the Nigerian marine ecosystem can sustain. Therefore, the main challenge is to ascertain how to sustainably utilize our abundant marine biodiversity and coastal resources to economically empower citizens while focusing on sustainability.
It is important to note that the conditions of service of the CBA as a minimum standard in line with the national extant and international regulations and must be met by all employers of seafarers. Employers are to note that enhancement of welfare of seafarers will in turn enhance productivity and effective job performance.
This occasion is very, very heartwarming for NIMASA because it took us almost 2 years plus to conclude. Today is a very, very happy moment for all of us.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. We are charting the direction for our maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are NIMASA. New face, rejuvenated service. NIMASA, changing the tides in your favor.
NIMASA This Week is a program that brings to you maritime facts, maritime quotes, maritime this and that you can use. Now, the management of NIMASA is saying a very big congratulations to Right Honorable Chibuike Amechi. He just came back as the Honorable Minister of Transportation. Congratulations. And for state, we have distinguished Senator Gbemi Saraki. And NIMASA is saying a very warm welcome because they believe that this would be the next round in moving the maritime sector to the next level.
Everybody is praising NIMASA, praising MPA, praising the Shippers Council, but it's not enough. What's enough is that we're able to put money in the pocket of the dragon. So that will be our next focus in the maritime sector.
The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, the Minister of State, distinguished Senator Gbemi Saraki, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Sabiu Zakari, led other directors and officials of the ministry to this meeting of minds with the management of the agencies and parastatals under the supervision of the ministry.
One of the legacies and achievements of the President in the last 4 years, as you can see, especially in the areas of rail. And I know that going forward, which is why you're here, it's going to continue to expand. Working together is the beginning of success. So I wish us all the very best and as we move to the next level.
The minister allows us as heads of agencies to define the path. He provides the leadership that is required to guide us. And I would like to commend him for what he's been able to do within the period.
His achievements are visible, yet he's so quiet.
He is extremely hyperactive. He is too active. I tell him always, calm down a little bit, slow down. You are too fast for all of us.
The drastic turnaround of the fortunes of the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, from a near-abandoned facility barely 2 years ago. Abandoned projects, lack of maintenance, the classrooms were an eyesore. Both human and infrastructural capital suffered seriously.
But Honorable Amechi listened to stakeholders, sourced for competent hands to manage the academy, and today, it's a new song of an academy Nigeria can be proud of. Smart classroom facilities, conducive learning environment, learning equipment of global standard, and our dear man Oron is on the ascendancy. The success story is there for all to see. It's another chapter of the Amechi revolution.
Minister has been the guardian angel of the academy. If other ministers have done this in the past, we would not be where we are today. We would have gone higher up.
Stakeholders must be part and parcel of CEOTANs. We must listen to them. What are your problems? What do you intend to do? What can you contribute? What do you have to put on the table?
How much importance should we as a country be placing on the work of this institute?
We need to change in the way we research about transportation.
Government is looking for credible, well-endowed business partners in a public-private partnership arrangement to invest into these opportunities to create jobs and wealth.
I hope that this institute, this noble effort, this chartered institute will put a stop to that.
You're watching NIMASA This Week, and NIMASA is the regulatory agency in charge of the maritime sector here in Nigeria.
It's worthy of note that from the stand of the NNPC, NIMASA and other Nigerian companies, the message was the same. Nigerian maritime and oil and gas sector is an investor's haven.
Attending this type of conferences has given opportunities for us to know the various technologies in existence.
Right now, there are immense opportunities that have not really been tapped, adequately. In other nations where the oil resource is become an endowment of God, like we have in Nigeria, they have been able to ensure that their local shippers, their local ship owners are able to profit immensely from it, and that is, what this presents to us now.
NIMASA says zero tolerance for corruption. We are going to do. The NOA is working with the EFCC to say zero tolerance for corruption. United against corruption.
We are patrons working against corruption in the name of awareness.
We are very happy to be associated with what is happening today. We know that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a footstep. What we have done today is the first step towards eradicating corruption. NIMASA and all the departments in NIMASA, we are suddenly behind the EFCC. On our own part, on individuals, the best way we can fight corruption is to do the right thing. In that your small office, in that your small responsibility that you are given, if you do the right thing, you have already started fighting corruption.
We are delighted, we in NIMASA, we are delighted to be here, collaborating with EFCC and other maritime stakeholders to fight against corruption, to stand against corruption, to say no to corruption, to say yes to prosperity, to say yes to stronger democracy, and to say yes to better living conditions of our people, Nigeria.
10 billion on flossing. Too much money can be nothing. So turn down the volume of your radio. The money when we don't see the audio.
The Gulf of Guinea is very critical, not just to Nigeria or Africa, but the world as a whole. The insecurity there affects the socio-economic, political, you name it, anything that has to do with security and business. The insecurity there will definitely have something to do as per impact. So far, so good. We've had participants from all over the world gathered here. And this is the opening day on NIMASA This Week. We'll be bringing you high points from this particular gathering. So stay with us and enjoy the Global Maritime Security Conference holding here in Abuja, Nigeria.
Whilst there have been several endeavors to address the broad array of real and potential threats in the Gulf of Guinea over time, the approach this time is to appraise the relevance and impact of the various interventions already initiated to tackle maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea and to revise and adapt them to address the current challenges. The absence of legal framework within member states seems to be a significant challenge in the regional effort to stem the tide. Nigeria, in this regard, thankfully put in place detailed legislation in the form of the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act that Mr. President signed into law on the 24th of June 2019. This act would tackle and repress piracy and other maritime crimes in Nigeria, in the Nigerian maritime domain.
Turning to the theme of this conference, which is ensuring that trade and travel by sea are as secure as possible, is a key element of IMO's work and mandate. Indeed, for trade to flow efficiently, the connections between ships, ports, and people must be secure, and a proper maritime security regime serves as the enabling factor for stability and prosperity within the ever-expanding domain of ocean governance.
This conference is of special interest to us as the theme and the sub-themes deal directly with all aspects of our mandate. The threats and consequences of maritime insecurity for the region require us to research innovative, achievable, and sustainable solutions.
Maritime insecurity remains one of the significant challenges affecting global commerce and our quest for sustainable use of our ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihood, and to create jobs. Nigeria is keen to drive this initiative because it is a significant destination in the international and domestic shipping market, accounting for over 65% of cargo generated and headed to the Gulf of Guinea region, with rich endowments of oil and gas reserves.
Finally, it's about to go down. We've been telling you about the NIMASA Appreciation Awards in the night for so long. It is finally here, and we're at the Expo Center, Eco Hotel. The whole place is looking very beautiful. Stakeholders are already around, staff, everybody's set to have a splendid evening. Don't worry, we'll be bringing you updates and lots more.
We have gathered all of you, great and mighty men and women, to celebrate our people, to celebrate our stakeholders, to celebrate excellence, to celebrate resilience of a people, to celebrate accomplishments, to celebrate the best of the best. And tonight, we shall be celebrating 3 categories of people. The first category are our staff. Some have spent 30 years of their life working in the industry, advancing Nigeria's global maritime goals. Some 25 years, some 20 years, some 15 years. We shall be acknowledging 12 persons who emerged Staff of the Month in the year 2018. Amongst them is someone who has beaten all known records in terms of service delivery. That one we shall be celebrating as our Employee of the Year.
The winner of the Employee of the Year 2018 is Segohi O. Abraham. Segohi O. Abraham. Where is he? Give him a round of applause. This is our Employee of the Year, our our star staff. The star staff. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
How did it feel when you were announced the winner?
So wonderful. I feel highly elated, as I promised you during the last section that we had before now. To God be the glory.
For me, every stakeholder who was here has every reason to feel proud and feel motivated.
Now, we've always told you that awards night, the atmosphere was very, very lively, and it is not going to be any different this year. As a matter of fact, it's just a few days before we experience the next awards night. It's going to be fantastic. We are gearing up for it. If you didn't receive an invitation, don't worry. We'll come and give you a blow-by-blow event. After all, the NIMASA This Week crew are always on hand to make sure you don't miss any part of the maritime industry, even the entertainment part. All right, it's time for us to go. I want to thank you enormously for watching the program. I have good news for you. Next week, guess who's back? Cordelia. Well, she went on a circumnavigation of her own, not as prominent as Ferdinand Magellan's, but she went around the world, and she's back. And she is in top form, ready to take you on next week on NIMASA This Week. Thank you for watching. We wish you a happy new year and all your dreams come true. We wish, we hope, and we say to you, always keep an ear down when NIMASA This Week is on, because you just never know if what's happening in the Nigerian maritime industry. But whatever happens, we'll be here to tell you about it. Thank you for watching. My name is Frank Edo. On behalf of the NIMASA This Week crew and NIMASA, we say we'll see you next time. Happy New Year.